Hi everyone, I am Priyanka on behalf of Paper Studio. In this video tutorial, we are going to make some pop-up cards in a springy Easter theme. So first of all, I am taking some card bases that I'm making with a 12x12 cardstock. And then I have cut my cardstock to 6x12. So there we get two pieces from one 12x12 sheet. And then I have scored at 6 inches on the 12-inch side on both of my pieces here. Now I'm just going to fold this and burnish just like that, and we get our two card bases. So you can make as many as you like. I'm going to show you two different techniques that you can use to make very quick and easy pop-up cards. Now first of all, we are going to make the inside of our card so that even if there is some bulk, we can adjust the closure of our cards by putting the ribbon and the pattern paper on top accordingly. Okay, so for my first card, I am using this pattern paper here. So I am using 6x6 pattern paper, that is Rustic Spring Basics. So those are the two shades that I'm going to use for my base. And this pattern paper measures 5/3/4 by 5/3/4 inches. So let me quickly put this inside the base. And the next two sheets that I have selected here are these ones. So try to avoid any large bold patterns on, so that for example this one, just avoid this kind of base for your card so that we can focus more on the pop-up. So that's why I have taken some neutral background, and this pattern paper again is 5/3/4 by 5/3/4 inches. Once you have already selected your pattern papers for the inside of the card and put it inside the card, next is the pop-up element. So for that, you just take a piece of cardstock, either it can be the brown one or the white one. Even if you have a 12x12 pattern paper, you can use that as well. Just select a random size. I have just taken it around 1/3/4 inches in breadth, and this is 12 inches. Then I scored it in the center and fold it in half, just like this. Now we need to make a V4 here. So it's going to be in an arrow shape. So what I usually do is hold it from here on the folded side of this piece here, and keeping a gap of at least 1/2 inch from the bottom here, I'm going to fold this part just like this in a diagonal form. So let me show you how I'm going to do that, and then maybe you will get a better idea of how this is supposed to be done. So since if I'm using a bit of a thick cardstock, it is difficult to fold it, but still you can use your burnishing folder to make a line like this. So you just have to fold it at an angle. If you see it just like that, that is pointing downwards. From the closed edge on my right side, the angle of this line is a bit down, right? Now, fold it like that, cut it from here, and then from here, right? You can also cut it from here till here, just like that. So you get something like this. Now you fold on these lines separately towards the back, and you can burnish it just like this. So if you see it is a little bit long because it's going outside my card. When I fold it like this, I want it to go a little bit at the back so that whenever we put some pop-up elements on this part of the pop-up base, so it folds and comes in a downward position. So if we keep this V-fold quite here, elements that we are going to put on top of this base is going to fold towards me when I close the card, and everything is going to come outside my card. So we don't want that. So what we will do is cut off at least this much. So if you want a proper measurement, then that's almost 4 inches. A little bit more than 4 inches, right? Like so. Now I'm going to round off the corner a little bit so that it's easier for me when we do the closing and the opening of our pop-up page like this. If you want to make it a bit more symmetrical, you can cut off this hinge to be just 1/2 inch, just like that. Okay, now the sticking part. So this part will go down at the back, and this will be stuck like so. Okay, so what you will do is go inside this folded part with this folded part of our card base, and we will stick our V-fold. So I'm going to put glue on both of my hinges. Spread this glue so that I get it in all the corners. And then I open this up and then just eyeballing it, making sure that this middle part is coinciding on this middle line of our card spread, and then I'm going to stick it. You can change the angle, you can make it more deep, or you can make it more flat. It totally depends on how you want your setup to look like. So on this card here, I'm going to put it like this, just like so. And then we close this, let it take its shape, and let's make the glue a bit dry, and there we have it. Our pop-up base is ready. Okay, the next thing that we can do is either you leave it like this, or you add one more layer of same V fold in a smaller size over here, just like this, parallel to this, like so. Next thing you can do is make some parallel folds over here on this card base. So let us jump into it. I'm going to decorate this card first and show you. Now for the decoration, I'll be using the embossed die cuts from Rustic Spring collection, as well as a few sheets from Rustic Easter collection. So this was a beautiful door with a wreath and some arrangement on the front of the door with some animals on the other sheet, and a house with a pig and a cart full of eggs. I thought it's going to look very beautiful if we put it at the back of our pop-up, just to give the whole village look to our scene. So I'm going to cut these out from this sheet, cut out these animals from here, and as well as the door from here till this part. So let us quickly do that, and we will add these to our pop-up cards. Okay, so this is going perfectly well if you see. So I'm going to put this out a little bit, and I'm going to fold this piece just like that. And then I'm going to put glue here at the back of this piece here, like so. Then I'm going to stick this piece just like this, making sure that the folded part of our this pop-up is going to go on the folded part of our base pop-up. Now let me close this piece so that takes its place. Make sure that the door or anything is not coming out of the card before you stick it down very well. Now there we have half part of our base is ready. Now the other piece that we made, this one, I'm going to put this one over here, but maybe a little bit like that, because there's just too much animals here. So what we will do is I'm going to cut off from this part, just like that, finishing it a bit in a way that looks very acceptable. Yep. So I'm putting just glue over here at the back of this donkey and the sheep, and I'm combining this in a way so that it looks a whole part, doesn't look like there are two separate parts to a scene, like so. Now to use this or add this, I'm going to put this in front of my house over here. So for that, I will just join a small piece of cardstock over here. So the supporting piece will be 4 inches by 1 inch. I'm going to score at every 1 inch. So it's going to be 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, and then first 4 inch. Now let's just fold this. You can add as many pieces as you want depending on the scene that you are going to build. So in this card here, I'm going to put this piece over here. So first I'm going to put glue on the outermost hinge, just like that, and this outermost hinge as well. So the first piece is going to go on the bottom, just like that, very flush to this piece that we have stuck here. Once you feel that this has dried up, then you just fold this piece down like so, and you close your card in the folded position. So now it will stick to its natural place, and we don't have to adjust the placing of this pop-up supporting base piece like so. When you open this up, you will see that it has stuck to this desired space. So use a glue that's very quick to dry, so that you don't have to hold this piece for a long time for it to dry. Okay, just like this. Now you can place any element. Either you can place this one, or you can place some elements from the Rustic Easter collection, just like this. This dog also looks very good, even this beautiful bunny. So since this is a bit of a matte finish, I'm going to go ahead with this leftover piece only. Okay, so you can place your glue, put your glue on this piece here, and then just check the place where you want to keep this. Also make sure that this doesn't come out of the card. So it is coming out of card a little bit, so I'm going to push it towards the inside of my card. So now when I close this down, it's not coming out of my card. See, so that's the beautiful pop-up that we have made inside. It was so quick and easy to do. You can add more layers, do one more piece over here, and stick some things on the sides, maybe some grass or some Easter eggs or anything. If you have a die, you can use that as well. So let me find something on my stash, and I will show you how more you can decorate this one. Now I have used this die, and then so I have just watercolored them with the help of my watercolor pencils, and I've made two of these pieces. Okay, so what I will do is cut this piece out from the center. Okay, and then I'm going to stick this piece over here like so, just behind this. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue here, and I'm going to stick this at the back of this dog. There we go. This in itself is quite enough. You don't need to put much things, but if you want to add more layers, then you can do the same thing we did here over here as well. Now if you see the height of this piece is quite less, and this was quite big, so we could have done lots of things over here. Now this piece here is not that high. Okay, so I'm going to take a very small piece. This piece measures 2 inch by 1 inch, and I have scored at half inch, 1 inch, 1.5, and 2 inches. Okay, and then just over here in front of this cat, I'm going to do the same thing which we did with the other piece, folding it in half like that, and then sticking this. Okay, and then when you open this, you have a small piece of rectangle over here, and then you can place your things just like so. Okay, so that's our whole look. Now let's just close this so that everything sticks together nicely, and there we have a beautiful pop-up card ready. Now you can put some picture mats over here or some message cards. So just like this, I use these small pattern papers, the leftovers one from which we cut these images. So I cut them to the desired shape. So this one is 3 by 4 inches, the other one is 2 by 3, and this one over here is 3 by 3 and 2 by 3. So I have stuck them in a manner where somebody can even stick a picture or write a message, and there is some decorative element to it as well. So just like this, I'm sticking this over here like so, just flat, and then the smaller piece I'm going to put glue only on a little bit this side, so that it can be raised and used as a flap or as a memory element or some decorative element. element as well. So just like this over here, I can place this, or like so. So just like that on the joint, I have just stuck this card. So this is a message place, there's a picture place. Again, the same thing over here. If you want, you can add a sentiment or something, then that makes a card complete. So let's quickly do the other one. So for the other one, I am going to do the same thing as we did with the background piece. And then I have made another piece parallel to this. This is a bit shorter in length. Okay, and then I'm going to stick this one parallel to this one. So this will be a more fuller pop-up because we are using 2 layers here. So we need lots of elements to decorate here. So I'm sticking this parallel to this one. I'm folding this and sticking it to its natural position. And there we have 2 layers on which we can decorate and put some elements. So let me quickly do that. The idea of making the pop-ups is just the 1 inch by 2.5 inch. So I've scored it 1/2 inch, and then 1/4 inch, 1/3/4 inch, and then it's 2.5. Okay, so just like this, and I'm going to stick this piece just in front of the cycle. So here I have put glue on the first and the last hinge, just like that. Now I'm going to stick the 1/2 inch hinge at the bottom over here. See, just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to stick this like so. Now let's close this, press it. Okay, now here you can put any piece that you like. I think I'm going to stick this cow over here. Since it's a tall element and it's easily visible from the front. So that's what I'm doing here. So also when you're doing that, you have to make sure that this piece here is not obstructing with the folding. See? You see where it's coming over here? Just like that. If I do it a little bit more towards this side, it's going to be obstruction while closing and opening the card. Okay, so that's it. And then here I think I'm going to put this dog. So what I did is I cut off the extra brown part from the base here and as well as from here. Sometimes we have to change things according to the elements that we put on the card. So that's what I did. And then instead of this chair, armchair, I'm going to stick this one over here, this card. Okay, and then since the bottom is just bottom of the where the car is, it's not looking good, the brown part. That's why when we use pattern paper, it looks really good, so we don't have to do these kind of adjustments. Okay, and then so I'm going to stick this piece here like so. so that this flowery trail doesn't go away. And then we do this. Just like so. Just like this. Just put these small eggs over here. Okay, so the next thing I'm doing is cut out another piece. From here, I cut this piece. Okay, and then I'm going to stick it over here. Now, if you don't like this, you can skip this as well. But I thought that it's just looking very absurd to me from here. Okay, from the front, it's looking fine. It's not looking too much, but as soon as you start to explore it, change directions here and there, you can see a good part of it over there. Okay, so I just wanted to cover that piece, so that's why I just cut this off from the other pattern paper. So let me just maneuver this a little bit more so that it can fit the exact way that I want it to. Maybe just like that. So just here I'm going to stick. Hope you can see this now, right? So just on this joint here, I have stuck this like that. And yeah, that's it for this pop-up page. I don't think anything else is required. Let's finish our card. For making the card front, I have just done a ribbon closure here. Stick the ribbon with the help of a tape on the front and at the back. And the back I have stuck the same pattern paper that I have selected for my front. So the front pattern and the back pattern paper is going to measure 1/4 inch less. So if your card base is 6 by 6 inches, you will select the pattern paper size to be 5/3/4 by 5/3/4 inches. Now I'm just going to stick this pattern paper flat down on my card base. Make sure if you're taking something that's a bit pattern, it has a pattern, so you need to break the colors by using a die cut on a different cardstock base. For example, if I'm taking this pattern paper which has flowery large pattern as a background, so I'm going to cut this with something that's basic. So if I just put this on this, this is not very visible. Okay, so that's why we are doing this one. Now I'm going to put this in the center with the help of my foam tape. I've already done that. This just helps to give some dimension and it gives a beautiful look to the card. Also, I have inked the edges with my brown ink. That's going very good with the pattern paper. That's walnut stain. Next thing is I have used the nesting circle die again, and this time I'm sticking it with a pattern paper. So just to break the color and also to give more base with the pattern paper. So using more colors from the pattern paper itself. Here I've used the green one and here I'm using the blue one. And again, I'm sticking this one with a foam tape as well. Now I want something big in the center, not too big to cover everything up. So I have selected this image, and this one is thanks heaps, and this one I have matted on a brown cardstock. Again, I'm sticking this piece as well with the help of, these are the leftover chipboard pieces. So this one is not too much thick as the foam tape is. So this is going to give us a little bit less dimension, but that's what I want here. Okay, so just in the center, I'm sticking this piece. And here at the back of this piece sentiment, I have put tape only on the one of the sides. This is going to go at the back of my basket here. Just like this. So since this is a little bit big, I'm going to cut off some part of it so that it goes inside, that is behind this basket of goodies here. I'm going to line this up on this edge here. So these are the beautiful cards that we made together, and I hope you guys like this one. They were very quick and easy to put together, especially with the pop out embossed die cuts. So I hope you had fun, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.